Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame proudly welcomes Doug Logan, class of 2007.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Logan.
I would like to thank the committee for this honor and congratulate my fellow inductees. I would also like to thank Lori Hotchkiss and Tom White, Terry Rumsey, and Rod Wood for their work on my video. I'd also like to thank my highly skilled staff at Time Warner Sports, many of whom are working this event tonight. Being part of the staff at Time Warner and bringing you the best in local sports is as professionally gratifying as anything I've ever done. My thanks to everyone who is here on my behalf, including so many of my friends from the great sports community of Auburn. I'm thrilled to have some family members here tonight. My oldest brother, Bill, and his wife, Suzanne, made the trip from Spokane, Washington. Bill is a retired admiral and retired captain at Alaska Airlines, and Suzanne has worked in surgical pathology. Thank you so much for coming. My youngest brother, Brian, is here from Kingsland, Georgia, and he's a 24-year Navy man. And my son, Rob is a magna cum laude graduate from Syracuse University. He's currently sales manager of GE Supply Los Angeles, and he's a 2007 national champion in high-speed go-kart racing. And he's living in Newport Beach, California. Thank you. Growing up in the Chicagoland area, I loved listening to the Cubs and the Bears and the Blackhawks on the radio. The broadcasters had a style about them that made the game so incredibly exciting. I knew by the time I was in 5th grade that I wanted to become a sports broadcaster. In 1980, Bob Myron and Curly Vadabon Kerr brought me here to broadcast Syracuse games to Syracuse fans. I tried to do that accurately and enthusiastically. I came from the University of Virginia, where the football program had only 3 winning seasons in 30 years. So I left that program to come to Syracuse and broadcast for a history-rich program with great tradition at a new beginning as it entered the area of the magnificent Carrier Dome. I'm sure Orange fans everywhere, so steeped in tradition and the history of Syracuse, are wondering, who is this guy coming up from Virginia? My first home game was opening night in the Carrier Dome against Miami of Ohio. Now, my broadcast booth was a picture of proficiency. I had a stat man right here. I sat here. I had a spotter here. My great broadcasting partner, Jim Ridlon, was over here. I had a stat man over this shoulder and a stat man over that shoulder. And I'll tell you, we worked like a machine. In the game against Miami of Ohio, there were 3 touchdowns scored in 36 seconds time in the second quarter. Okay? Now, Syracuse had an outstanding running back, and you saw him on the video. His name was Joe Morris, and he was Mr. Excitement, like a lightning bolt. Anytime he touched the ball, he could go for a touchdown. Well, Syracuse scores, then Miami of Ohio breaks a long run on their first play from scrimmage, some 83 yards for a touchdown, and then it's time to kick off to Syracuse, and the ball is going high, end over end, still the biggest crowd in the history of the Carrier Dome, 50,500 on hand. The ball end over end, and it comes down to Morris at the 6-yard line. Morris has a wall of blockers in front of him. He runs to the 10-yard line, the 15-yard line, then he cuts it outside. And the fans are getting excited because he's going full throttle. He's to the 20-yard line, the 25, and he starts cutting up the sidelines right in front of the Miami, Ohio bench. Now, there are people that are diving for Joe Morris, but he's so quick they can't get him. So empty arms as they hit the turf. So anyway, he's to the 25-yard line, the 30-yard line, and he's in full stride. There are 2 people who have a chance to get him. And one is closing in, has the angle, but Morris blows by him at the 35-yard line to the 40. There's only one more guy that can possibly tackle him. He's the kicker from Miami, Ohio, and he ain't tackling anybody. Okay, he's to the 40-yard line, the 45, he's to midfield. And the crowd is going crazy in the Carrier Dome. He's to the 40-yard line. And I notice, as I'm calling this play, my first home game for Syracuse University, I notice out of my peripheral vision to my left, my stat man, as the crowd is going crazy, he's leafing through the pages of a book. I thought it was really odd. But Morris is breaking away. The 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. It's a touchdown, Syracuse! And the crowd goes crazy in the Carrier Dome. And people at home are going crazy listening to the radio. We're going a little bit crazy in the broadcast booth. It's delirium inside the Carrier Dome, louder than I've ever heard it. And as the crowd noise starts to abate, I get tapped on my shoulder from the stat man. My first game coming up from Virginia, now at Syracuse. And he points to a line in the book, a book that he typed out. And in my first ever game with this history-rich, tradition-filled program, I'm able to look down and say, the last time a Syracuse Orangeman returned to kickoff for a touchdown, Floyd Little in 1965 against Holy Cross. And the fans are saying, damn, how'd he know that? I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I just came up from Virginia. I didn't know it. But the fact is, my stat man knew it. Dave LaRose put me in a position to succeed with my very first home broadcast, and I'll always appreciate it. So tonight, as I stand before you, I'd like to publicly thank everyone who's put me in a position to succeed professionally. Most especially, my mother and my father, Carol and Bob. They helped me buy my first tape recorder so I could do the play-by-play of the high school games. At WSYR, it was Hugh Barr and Joel Delmonico. At Channel 9, Steve Cronquist and Andy Brigham. At Dirt Motorsports, fellow Hall of Famer Glenn Donnelly. And now, at Time Warner, it's Mary Cotter. I hope you enjoyed the video because we shared these thrills together. Opening night in the Carrier Dome, the triple overtime victory over Villanova for the Big East Championship, Pearl Shot, defeating number 1 ranked Nebraska, crushing Penn State in '87, the 2-point conversion for a perfect season against West Virginia, any win over Georgetown, and the sensational football victories over Colorado, Texas, Michigan, Wisconsin, LSU, Ohio State, Florida, Pitt, the Hurricanes, and the Hokies. We beat them all. As keeper of the microphone for 19 wonderfully exciting years, I did my best to present and preserve all those memorable moments. Finally, throughout the audience tonight, we have living legends in our midst. On behalf of all of us here, I want you to know that we celebrate you all. And on a personal note, God bless you, Dolph Shays, Tex Simone, Roy Simmons Jr., and Coach Mack. 20 years ago, the inaugural Hall of Fame class included Ginny Allen, Dolph Shays, Carmen Basilio, and Marty Pirano, as well as those who have passed on, Danny Biazone, Babe Cranfield, Vic Hansen, Ben Schwartzwalder, Paul Seymour, and Roy Simmons Sr. I wish they and all other inductees over the years were here tonight. And for those who have left us, I wish I had one less day with them then so I could have one more day with them now. I would cherish the opportunity to one more time hear their marvelous stories, and I would tell them how incredibly honored and humbled I am to be joining them in the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you so very much.
I think we know no one does it better, but Doug, just one more thing. Before you continue with your hosting duties, your friends and colleagues at Time Warner Cable have prepared another short, very special video tribute for you. They'd like to share that now with you, your family, and this audience.
Aloha from Liliuokalani Gardens in the Big Island of Hawaii. Doug, we're sorry we can't be with you when you receive your much-deserved recognition and induction into the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Doug, and aloha. We're so very proud of you, and we love you very much. And we wanted to thank Time Warner and Mary Cotter and Jeff and Todd for making this possible. It was so nice of them.
We'll be thinking about you tonight, and we'll see you when we get back, and so long for now.